Hazel and I have a 5-year-old child who was our first child together. As a family of 3, we were pretty happy and we led a relatively peaceful life. There was a storm that came into my life and turned my happy and peaceful life into a hellish nightmare. Although I thought that knowing the truth would be very helpful for me, it ended up ruining everything for me. I have been married to my wife for 7 years. I remember one day Hazel's mother came over to our house after we were married to meet us, and as she was eating dinner, she started telling us about her first child after marriage and indirectly asking us if we would like to have a child because it had been 2 years since the marriage. In the course of next 3 or 4 months, I noticed that she was feeling sad and I was sure that there was something wrong with her. After I asked her about the reason for the delay, she replied that it was not for me to know the reason. I insisted that she tell me and she refused to do so. I thought that she was sad because she did not have a child of her own. After I tried to talk to her, she insulted me. In order to avoid the situation, I got busy at work. Since she started arguing with me constantly every time, she was frustrated. And since I kept getting hurt whenever I tried to talk to her, she insisted me terribly. In essence, I just wanted to fix anything in her life, but I was only able to do that when she got a child. So for now, I just wanted her to be alone. On the following day, she apologized to me, and I hugged her and told her everything was going to be okay. I have a strong belief in the fact that we are going to have a baby very soon. She began to cry as if she was having a broken heart, and I allowed her to do so because I believed crying would relieve her stress. That night we had a relaxed heart together, and following day we were both physically involved with each other. In the morning we got up and I thought that everything would be fine because she was in a good mood, but I could tell that she was upset for a long time and she cried, but I always tried to smile at her and to hold her in such an extremely difficult situation. After 1 week of working in the office, when I came home from the office, Hazel told me that she had good news for me, that she is pregnant. It was a great surprise for me and a blessing at the same time. Although I was very happy, I remembered that Hazel was not as happy to find out after a long struggle we were finally going to be able to have a baby. We had our first child, but the problem began after 5 years. The first thing I noticed was that this child's traits were very different from mine, and his gray eyes were not just an unusual feature. The signs that this kid is showing are enough to raise doubts in our minds about him. As soon as I started checking the family tree of my family, I was surprised to find that there has never been an individual in our family, even in our forefathers, who had gray eyes. In my opinion, these things were red flags to me. In order to reach the bottom of the affair, I decided to dig as deep as I could to find the truth about it. As soon as I got my kid to the hospital for his medical test, I made an excuse to Hazel that we're just going for a walk and we're just having fun while we're there. As a result of the test, the doctor called me a few days later to inform me the results and told me I had no chance of becoming a father due to my genotype characteristics, which proved that kid wasn't my kid and Hazel cheated on me for 7 years. Our kid was 5 years old and all of the time I thought it was our son. But now these reports are telling me something else, and I was extremely surprised by the results. My life has been shaped by this kid for a few years now, and I'm finally facing the reality of the situation today after taking care of him for a couple of years. This report has made me feel like the earth has slipped from under my feet. Then I got home in anger and I think to myself that I just should have salted these reports on Hazel's face the moment I got home. Nevertheless, I decided to find out whose father is the father of this child and why she cheated on me for a number of years. I discovered who her lover was. Because I changed my mind to expose her at that moment, I wanted to know her truth. There was still a possibility, however, that maybe she's still meeting the person who was the father of the kid a couple of months after that day. Therefore, from that moment on, I kept a very close eye on her. I checked her cell phone while she was in the shower. The phone she had with her did not have anything on it, but I did not find anything in it. After following her for a couple of weeks, she did not tell me about what she was doing. Likewise, I was aware of her friends. I was aware of each of her friends, and she met them all within a month, but she did not meet anyone strange at all. When I was following her one day, I discovered that she had started meeting a man I did not know anything about while I was following her. After that, she had started behaving oddly with me in the house as well. I initially thought this man might be that person, but then I realized that if he were that person, then why did she meet that person for the first time if he was that person? As time passed, she began to have more and more encounters with him. As time went by, I had decided one day that I was going to go to the restaurant where they usually meet and come suddenly while they are sitting on their seats in the restaurant. When I first approached her, she was astonished and her face looked as if it had been paralyzed with fear when I gazed at her. She then introduced me to the guy. He was a classmate from university and he came to this city after 6 months for official work. While I was still confused, I thought that maybe this would be a worthwhile lead for me if I waited. It was a normal meeting for me, and when I left, Hazel was satisfied because she thought I did not know anything about them. However, I was aware of what they had done in fact. Once I decided to take a look at her laptop to see if it had everything to show me. I noticed that she had logged in with a password, but she did not know I recorded it. I opened the system and discovered that she messaged that guy who met her in the restaurant, since their Facebook messages indicate they are dating. I was shocked to learn what kind of woman Hazel was. I was shocked to learn that she had another person's child and that I was her husband. On top of that, she was dating another person. Does she have any guilt over this? I took pictures of the messages from the laptop. The way I see it this time, I wanted to ask her why she did all these things behind my back and give her a divorce, so that I could remove her from my life permanently. Furthermore, I found a message in that chat from them in which they said that they would meet in a bar and then they would spend the night together. In response, Hazel replied that she would notify her husband that she would be staying at a friend's house. A second thing that was very strange was the fact that person asked Hazel to meet her child. There is something I do not understand about why someone wanted to meet his baby's child. In spite of this, I was very clear with my wife that she was cheating on me and I would track her actions so that along with the evidence, I would divorce her. I was following her. She met him first, then they went to the hotel room for a few hours. When they were getting close, I took pictures of them in the bar. I thought it was going out of control for me because of her act that I was watching, but somehow I was able to control myself. Then came the day when I was going to ask her everything. In addition, I continued to present her with all the evidence that I had in front of me. She said she would explain it to you, and there was a look of tension on her face. Even if I did not want to talk to her, I would just like to ask one question. Do you have a heart? I don't understand how are you able to do this to your husband. First, you cheated on me by having someone else's child, and now you're having another affair with someone while having your husband. Are you ashamed of yourself in any way? Wouldn't it have been better for you if you left me at the beginning? Was it not a better option for you if you don't even love me instead of cheating on me time and time again? When she started crying, I did not give a shit what should I do with her. I don't care about what she's going through. My question to her was, who's the real father of this kid? Then she started to tell the truth about what had happened. It is only you and that friend from university who was her ex in reality who is the father of the child, and the other person you met in a restaurant who is the real father of the child. As soon as he came back into my life now, I began to meet him. Then she told me that when we were trying to conceive a child after marriage, but we failed to conceive, then she decided to take some parenting tests in which it came out that I could not be a father, but Hazel could be a mother. It was disturbing for her to hear that. Hazel became frustrated and stressed about just because of my infertility. She was not able to be a mother with me, but could be a mother to someone else because of her desire to have a child. In that time, when she had started hating me because she was blaming me for what had happened to her, she met her university ex-boyfriend one day when she was feeling depressed. As she had been feeling depressed for some time, she talked to her and they spent some time together. And after a while, they started reuniting. After drinking a few shots one night, the two of them became unconscious and went to sleep as a result of the effects of the alcohol. As soon as Hazel found out that she was pregnant, she told her ex. However, he refused to own the child and told her to abort. Hazel said that she wouldn't abort after trying to conceive with me for 2 years. Upon giving birth, her ex told her to abort the child rather than own it, and I told her that she did not want to get physical with him, but since we drank, the incident occurred and she apologized for it right away. According to her, the real father of the child wants to own the child, and that is why we've started to meet with him. As I listened to her, I was very angry and I slammed the glass in my hand to the wall. I replied to her that I had never seen a characterless woman in my life like her. As soon as I got her and this kid out of the house with their luggage, and I said, "Go to hell all of you," because I was furious with anger towards them. I'll be free from that bad character woman in a few days after the divorce is finalized. The thing is that I do not know what will happen to her and that kid whom I took care of and loved like my own. I am a little concerned about the kid as he's the only one suffering through all this crap. However, I hope he was given the best possible care by his real father who is doing the best he can. In spite of the fact that he was not my child, I accepted the reality of it and moved forward like a brave person. As a result of this mess, it doesn't seem like I need someone. I just need myself. People are selfish and not loyal, and so rather than accepting their mistake, they blame you instead of taking responsibility. It is widely recognized that women are characterized by selfishness and disloyalty in their behavior. We can trust men but not women because men are much loyal than women.